Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But the roof was listed as...
We've been dealing with a lot of bad leaks from the storm last night.
She's about as well maintained as our roof.
I get it.
Do it. Ashley.
Who take out these old archival books are always...
Son.
Come on in. You're my first student at the... Why were you...
Must be wondering what we do in these meetings.
I don't know who that is.
The daily journal of my thing about this town.
Hey, we're home.
Hey.
The artists are all talented. I'm not being an artist.
No, we lived under the same roof for...
A man named Chuck Wilson is hoping for a fresh start. He has experienced great tragedy in his life. His mother died in a terrible car accident not long ago. The accident was tragic and devastating for his entire family. Chuck is still grieving the loss of his mother, but he is trying to move forward. He is trying to rebuild his life and create something new. Chuck decides to move to a small town called Ashland Falls, Pennsylvania. It is a quiet, peaceful-looking town in rural Pennsylvania. Chuck moves there with his wife Maria and his younger sister Isabel. Isabel is still in college and still dealing with the grief of losing their mother. She was actually present at the accident. She witnessed her mother's death. This has filled her with guilt and overwhelming sadness. Isabel blames herself for the accident. She believes that she could have prevented it or done something to stop it. Maria is Chuck's wife. She suffers from bipolar disorder. She has struggled with mental health issues for a long time. Maria is prone to episodes where her mental state becomes unstable and dangerous. She is dealing with her own internal struggles while also trying to support Chuck through his grief. The three of them move into a house in Ashland Falls. The house was very affordable. The price was suspiciously low. Chuck found the house to be a great deal, a good price for a nice home. But Maria notices that the price seems too good to be true. Something seems off about how cheap the house is. Why would such a nice house be sold for such a low price? It seems unusual and suspicious. As they move into the house and begin their new life, strange things begin to happen. Lights turn on by themselves in the middle of the night. No one is touching the switches, but the lights keep turning on and off. Objects in the house move on their own. Furniture shifts position. Things fall and break without anyone being near them. The family members hear noises. They hear strange sounds coming from different rooms. They feel a presence in the house. They sense that something is not right. Something is wrong in this house. Something is haunting their new home. The family begins to ask questions. They talk to people in the town. They try to understand what is happening in their house and in the town. The townspeople are very reluctant to talk about it. They are hesitant and evasive. They do not want to discuss the history of the house or the town. But gradually, through conversations and investigations, the Wilsons learn a dark secret. A terrible history has befallen this town. Decades ago, many years in the past, a woman named Helen Foster lived in Ashland Falls. Helen had a daughter who was being bullied at school. The bullying was terrible and constant. Her daughter was being tormented and harassed by other students. Helen tried to help her daughter. She reached out to the bullies' parents. She sent them letters asking them to stop the bullying and to help her daughter. But no one listened. No one helped. The school would not intervene. The community would not step up. Helen's pleas were ignored. Helen was desperate to help her daughter. She was filled with grief and anger over the fact that no one would help. She felt abandoned and betrayed by the community. She felt that everyone was ignoring her daughter's pain. She felt that the town and the school had failed her family. In her pain and desperation, Helen made a terrible decision. She took her own life. She committed suicide. Helen killed herself, leaving behind her daughter and all the unanswered questions and unresolved pain. But Helen's death did not end there. Helen's anger did not die with her body. Her rage and her pain became something more. Her spirit became trapped. Her ghost began to haunt the town. Helen's spirit has been terrorizing the residents of Ashland Falls for decades. Since the 1940s, Helen's ghost has been causing supernatural disturbances. She has been attacking people. She has been causing deaths. There have been mysterious suicides in the town over the years. Many people believe that Helen's spirit is responsible for these deaths. The townspeople are afraid of Helen's ghost. They have been living with the haunting for so long that they treat it as a normal part of life. They whisper about it, but do not speak openly. They tell newcomers to be careful, but do not explain why. They have learned to live with fear and death. They have become numb to the horror. The town is haunted by guilt and shame. Everyone knows what happened. Everyone knows about Helen and her daughter. But no one did anything to help. No one stepped up to stop the bullying. The whole community failed Helen's family, and now they are paying the price. Helen's ghost is an eternal punishment for their inaction and their silence. Chuck becomes determined to solve this mystery. He wants to understand what is happening and why his family is being haunted. He wants to find Helen's original house. He believes that if he can find the place where Helen lived, he might be able to stop her haunting. He might be able to end the supernatural activity. He might be able to save his family. Chuck begins to research. He looks for records and maps. He tries to find the address of Helen's original house. The residents tell him that it was at 825 Forest Road. But when Chuck checks the maps in the official town records, he cannot find 825 Forest Road anywhere. The address does not exist on any current map. The street has been removed or changed. The address is gone. It has been erased from the official records. The town has deliberately hidden or removed the location of Helen's house from the maps and the public record. The film is told in chapters. The first chapter shows Chuck's perspective on the first few days in the house. He experiences strange things. He hears noises. He sees odd occurrences. But as the lead character, he often dismisses what he is seeing. He tries to rationalize it. He tries to find logical explanations for the supernatural events. The second chapter shows Isabel's perspective on the same events. Isabel is a sensitive and artistic person. She is more aware of the supernatural activity. She is more affected by it. She draws pictures and sketches of what she sees. Her drawings depict strange figures and creepy scenes. Her artwork shows visions of the haunting that are happening around her. The third chapter shows Maria's perspective. Maria is dealing with her own mental health struggles. She is having episodes. It is hard to tell if what she is experiencing is part of her mental illness or if it is actual supernatural activity. But she too encounters strange and frightening things in the house. The house itself becomes a character in the story. There is a creepy mannequin named Martha. The mannequin is supposed to be a dress form or a clothing display. But the mannequin seems to move on its own. It appears in different locations. It seems to be watching them. The mannequin becomes a vessel for Helen's presence. Helen uses the mannequin to interact with the family. The mannequin becomes increasingly disturbing and threatening as the story progresses. As the supernatural activity escalates, the family becomes more frightened and desperate. Chuck is trying to hold everything together. He is trying to be strong for his family, but he is cracking under the pressure. Maria is having episodes. She is becoming unstable. Isabel is terrified. She is drawing more and more pictures of the terrifying figure she keeps seeing. The figure in her drawings looks like Helen. The spirit is getting stronger. It is becoming more aggressive. It is attacking the family more directly. Strange things happen. Doors lock by themselves. The family gets locked in rooms. They cannot escape. The house seems to be trapping them. The house is alive with malevolent energy. Isabel has a particularly strong connection to Helen's ghost. The spirit seems drawn to Isabel. Perhaps because Isabel lost her mother just like Helen's daughter lost her mother. Perhaps because of their shared trauma and grief. Helen seems to be trying to communicate with Isabel. The ghost is trying to tell her something. Isabel's drawings become more detailed and more disturbing. She draws images that seem to predict what will happen next. Her sketches seem to foreshadow future events and attacks. Chuck continues his investigation. He is determined to find 825 Forest Road. He searches old records. He talks to older residents who might remember the original location. He looks at old maps and town planners from the 1920s and 1930s. He compares the old maps to the current city mapping. Through this research, he eventually finds the location. He discovers where 825 Forest Road actually is. But by the time he finds it, it might be too late. The supernatural activity in his own house has become unbearable. There is also a local real estate agent and other townspeople who become involved. A man named Luke works with the real estate business. He is helping Chuck try to understand the history of the house, but Luke also becomes a victim of Helen's wrath. Helen attacks Luke. The ghost kills him. The realtor who sold Chuck the house also becomes a victim. Helen's supernatural attacks leave bodies in her wake. Everyone who gets close to the mystery of 825 Forest Road seems to be in danger. As the film reaches its climax, the final chapter reveals the truth. Chuck realizes that his own home, The house where his family's living is actually connected to the original 825 Forest Road. The address numbers might have changed, but the location is the same. His new house sits on the same spot where Helen's original house stood. His family is living in the exact place where Helen's tragedy unfolded. They are living on cursed ground. They are living where the pain and suffering originated. At the end of the film, Helen's ghost becomes more aggressive and more visible. She appears in her ghostly form. She attacks Chuck and Isabel directly. She reaches out to grab them with a black ghostly hand. Chuck tries to rescue his sister, but they both become locked in a room with the terrifying figure of Helen. The film cuts to black. The ending is abrupt and ambiguous. It is unclear what happens to Chuck and Isabel. It is unclear if they survive or if Helen kills them. The film does not provide clear answers or resolution. The ending is frustrating to many viewers because it leaves so many questions unanswered. What happens to Chuck and Isabel in that locked room? Does Helen kill them or do they escape? What happens to Maria? Does the family survive? These questions are left unresolved. The film ends without providing closure or explanation. Many viewers feel that the ending is incomplete or poorly executed. Some viewers feel that the ending seems rushed or that the writer ran out of ideas. The ambiguous ending may be intentional, trying to mirror the unresolved nature of Helen's tragedy and the town's historical trauma. The film explores deep themes of grief, trauma, and mental health. It deals with the pain of losing loved ones. It deals with guilt and self-blame. It deals with communities that ignore suffering and marginalize people. The film suggests that Helen's rage is justified. She was wronged. Her daughter was bullied and no one helped. Helen's suicide was a tragedy. The community failed her, and now the community is being punished by her ghost for that failure. The haunting is a manifestation of unresolved historical trauma. The film is a commentary on how communities must confront their past sins or they will be haunted by them forever. 825 Forest Road is a 2025 American supernatural horror film written and directed by Stephen Cognetti. Cognetti is known for directing the Hell House LLC film franchise, which was a found-footage horror series. This is Cognetti's first venture into traditional narrative filmmaking instead of found footage. The film stars Elizabeth Vermillier as Maria, Catherine Miller as Isabel, and Joe Falcone as Chuck. The film was released on April 4, 2025, exclusively on Shudder, the horror streaming service. The film has a runtime of 1 hour and 42 minutes. The film received mixed reviews from critics and viewers. It has a 33% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Many critics felt that the film was slow and repetitive. The 4-chapter structure, where the same events are shown from different perspectives, makes the film feel longer than it actually is. Some viewers felt that this structure was confusing and unnecessary. They felt that seeing the same scenes repeated from different perspectives did not add enough new information or insight to justify the repetition. Many viewers also complained about the abrupt and unsatisfying ending. The ending left too many questions unanswered. It felt incomplete and rushed. However, some viewers and critics appreciated the film's atmosphere and its exploration of trauma and mental health. They appreciated the small-town horror setting, reminiscent of Silent Hill and Dead Silence. They appreciated the creepy mannequin named Martha and the haunting imagery. They appreciated the way the film slowly builds dread and unease. Some viewers felt that the film succeeded in being genuinely creepy and unsettling, even if the plot had flaws. The film's cinematography is well done. The small-town setting of Ashland Falls is beautifully filmed. The dark, gloomy atmosphere is captured effectively. The sound design creates tension and dread. The practical effects are solid. The makeup used to enhance the haunted visuals is convincing. There are a few jump scares that are effective and well executed. The performances by the cast are uneven. Some performances are better than others. Joe Falcone as Chuck delivers a decent performance as a man trying to hold his family together while dealing with grief and supernatural horror. Catherine Miller as Isabel brings emotional depth to her role as a young woman struggling with guilt and trauma. Elizabeth Vermillier as Maria portrays the struggles of someone dealing with bipolar disorder and trying to support her family. The film has acquired worldwide distribution rights. In October 2024, Bluefinch Films acquired worldwide rights to the film. The deal was made before the film's official festival premiere scheduled for 2025. Bluefinch Films plan to launch sales of the film at the American film market in November 2024. The film was later released on Shudder in April 2025. 825 Forest Road is a flawed but sometimes effective haunted house film. It has good bones and a solid concept. It has a creepy atmosphere and some genuine scares. But it is held back by its repetitive structure, weak ending, and uneven execution. For fans of psychological horror and haunted house stories, it may be worth watching despite its flaws. For those who prefer more traditional horror with clear resolutions and better pacing, they might find it disappointing. The film is a mixed bag. Some viewers will appreciate it, others will find it slow and boring. Let me know your thoughts about this haunted house horror film in the comments section below. Also, subscribe to this channel for more horror movie recaps like this one.